Hello everyone, this is Saul, and today we're going to be doing a tier list of every single United States state. So, often requested for, by which I mean one person asked for this, as a sequel to my previous two geography tier list videos. And so, of course, it falls to me to make it. Well, let's not waste any time and get right into it. First of all, we have Indiana. Now, I have lived here for like 3 years, and I think there's basically just corn. I'll put it at 18. Nothing really else to say. Hawaii is way too hot. I don't know. I haven't actually been there, but just reading the weather reports, it's just hot and humid. And then there are beaches, but like you can go anywhere else for beaches. I don't really see what the rage is about. I'll put it in C tier, though I might revisit this one if I ever visit Hawaii. California F tier. West Coast is cringe. Nobody likes the West Coast. Speaking of the West Coast, well, see, Alaska isn't really West Coast because it's kind of separated. It's basically like connected more to Canada. So I'm gonna give it an exception. You got polar bears. You got like fucking based weather. I don't see any reason why Alaska isn't like an easy S tier state. That's just that. Alabama. Now, low-hanging fruit aside, just for the weather and the fact that the entire state is just like, it's just a sinkhole. It's a shithole. Nobody wants to go there. Why would you go there? Why? Alright, next up we have Arizona. Arizona is nice. Like, weather aside, okay, it's really hot, but it's dry, so I can vibe with that. Desert and shit. I don't know. I'll put it up in like high up in the C tier. I think it deserves to go there. Next up, we have Colorado. Another, for me, easy S tier state. You got mountains, you got ski resorts, you got nice weather, you got high altitude places. I don't know what there is not to like about Colorado. Now, of course, granted, I haven't been there. I haven't been to like most of these states. But hey, why does that matter? It's not like I need to know and actually have experience in the state to talk about how shit it is. Next up, we have Delaware. This exists purely for historical reasons and probably can be done away with. I'll put it in low D tier. Next up, we have Connecticut. I've been to Connecticut a few times. The only real thing I remember from there is that there was just one pizzeria, which was like the best pizza I've ever had. I've never had pizza that good ever again in my life. And yeah, just for that pizza, I'm going to put it in A tier. Next up, we have Florida. Then we have Georgia. Georgia's a beautiful state. I remember driving all the way down to Florida, and I don't remember most of that drive. But I do remember Georgia, and I do remember how beautiful that state looked in terms of countryside. I remember, one of the towns that I forgot the name of had like a really nice and pretty museum and good food and stuff. I'll put it up in B tier. I think it gets to go there. Maryland. Is there really anything to say about Maryland? I don't know. I think it's quite difficult to think of something to say about Maryland. Idaho. I was born in Idaho, so I'll put it in B tier. There's like literally nothing there, but I was born there, so you know. Gotta be patriotic to the state I was born in, even if I lived there for like 2 months of my life, and that's it. Next up, we have Illinois. Chicago's nice, I guess. Okay, decent city. I don't think there's literally anything else in the entire state apart from Chicago. Like, that's the only thing of note in that entire region of land. So yeah, big deal. Sure, whatever. Next up, we have Arkansas. I'm going to put this in D tier just because there's a Kansas and this isn't pronounced Arkansas, and that's kind of cringe. Iowa. Is there anything in Iowa at all? I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is something there. I just don't know what it is. You know, I think the same goes for Kansas. Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know, I've never had KFC. Why would I ever have KFC? It's kind of cringe to have KFC, but like, it's famous. Put it in B tier. Next up, we have Louisiana. Louisiana is fun. New Orleans is cool. I love the excellent and amazing city design where the entire city floods like every 2 weeks because they built it below sea level, like absolute geniuses. It's just a marvel of architecture and construction and just city design. It's just the most fabulous thing in the world. I'm gonna put it in A tier just for that. Also Mardi Gras. And it was French. Maine. I have no clue where to put Maine. I guess the weather is nice. I'll put it in B tier. The weather is nice. Yeah, borders Canada too. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Boston has like the best cannoli I've ever had in my life, so I'm gonna put Massachusetts in A tier. Put it above Connecticut. No, I'm gonna put it below Connecticut because the pizza I had in Connecticut was better than the cannoli I had in Boston. Michigan. I've been to Michigan quite a bit actually, and I think I dig the state quite a bit. Like it's nice. Detroit's a good city. The going to Lake Michigan is always fun. I don't know. I think it's a pretty solid state. Got a lot of good things going for it. Minnesota's cold as fuck, and I think that's a fabulous thing. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. There isn't really much there apart from being cold as fuck. Minneapolis it exists, I guess. It does exist. Mississippi. It's like literally the same reason as Alabama. I'm gonna put it down there because like both of those states fucking suck. Montana. It's a huge ass state with absolutely fuck all. CT. Nebraska. It's a not that big state with quite a bit more than Montana, but still not very much. Just fucking fields and shit. I'll put it in B tier. I'll put it above Kentucky because fields growing crops and vegetarian food is better than cringe meat eating Kentucky. Next up, we have Nevada. I don't know, do people like to gamble? Gambling's fun. I'll put it in B tier. I've never actually been to a casino because I'm not old enough, but hey, who really cares? New Hampshire. It's like shitty Vermont. New Jersey. I should probably have created like a NJ tier below F just to put New Jersey in, but I guess I'll put it on the bottom of F tier. New Jersey is literally hell on earth. The entire reason that state exists is so that sometime in the future, all the people who identify as New Jerseyites can be placed within that state, barricaded with a giant brick wall that extends to about a mile high in the entire perimeter of the state, which includes maritime borders, because of course they have the long-standing border quote-unquote dispute with New York, where the islands that are rightfully New York are being claimed by the disgusting New Jerseyites. And so after we build that mile-high wall, let nobody in and out, and ground every single plane, and blow up the airport, what we do is we go inside, bore a giant hole down into the lava, and funnel the lava out enough so that the entire state is covered with molten lava. That way it becomes quite literally hell on earth rather than just metaphorically hell on earth. And once it is literally hell on earth, the New Jerseyites are at home, that they can be happy, and the rest of the world doesn't have to bother about going to hell, because if you want to go into hell, you have to climb a mile-high wall and walk into lava, and nobody wants to do that. It literally solves every single problem that humanity has in one fell swoop. And hence, I'm going to put New Jersey at the bottom of F tier, because in its current state, it has no purpose to exist and should probably just be removed. Like, the entire thing going underwater would, I think, increase world happiness, like, by 3,000% by just sinking New Jersey under the ground. New Mexico. I don't know, I like Mexican food. I'll put it C tier. I'll put it higher up. New York is based. I'll put it between Alaska and Colorado. I lived in Long Island for a while. I lived near the city. The city is based. Long Island is based. Upstate New York is based. Niagara Falls is based. At least our half of it. The Canadian half is crazy because it's Canadian. Nobody likes Canadians. I don't know. Do we like Canadians? I don't think we like Canadians. Why would we like Canadians? Syrup is good, but apart from that, no real reason to like Canadians. Anyway, New York gets easy S tier just by virtue of me having lived there and absolutely loving that state. North Carolina. A middle of the sea tier kind of list. Pretty average. I remember visiting some family in North Carolina once. It was okay, I guess. We went and played golf, and I sucked at golf, and that's all I remember. North Dakota. Quite frankly, why is North and South Dakota separate states? There's like no reason for them to be separate states. There's like one person in North Dakota and like two in South Dakota. That's it. That's all there is. Nobody else lives there. I don't know why they have to be two states, but whatever. Ohio is just barely above New Jersey. It is the endless, all-consuming void, and the entire rest of the country should take preventative measures to make sure that Ohio does not overstep its boundaries as an international and quite evil threat to all of human civilization. It's not as bad as New Jersey, but yeah, pretty close. Oklahoma. I quite like Oklahoma. I don't like Oklahoma. Obviously, everyone can agree is the definition of a wasteland. It's like a giant prairie where nothing can grow, barely anything can grow, no crops or anything. There's like quite terrible water irrigation. It's not very nice to live in at all. But I think it has really cool history after the Native American tribes, where a good portion of them were exiled here or somewhere near here after the Trail of Tears and after other similar Native American removals. And I think it's interesting how their history shapes the history of that state. And I think that's just fascinating. I'm going to put them in B tier. It's fun to learn about. Oregon. West Coast is cringe. It's better than Florida, I guess. Better than California, too. Pennsylvania. I'm going to put it high up in 8. I'm going to put it low in 8, I guess. Whatever. Above Louisiana. I have visited there a few times. I like it. It's a pretty state. I especially love Philly. City has such a rich and fascinating history, and you feel that history. You see that history walking in Philly and just going to places. It feels like a place with a story to tell. Rhode Island. I went there once. It rained. It was kind of terrible. But it wasn't D tier terrible. South Carolina. It's like North Carolina but shittier. South Dakota. It's like North Dakota but less shitty. Missouri. I don't know. The name kind of sounds like misery. You know, misery's not a good thing. Tennessee. I'll put it up in... Put it, like, reasonably high up in B tier. Tennessee's nice. It's not really very much to be said about Tennessee. It's not very much to be said about most of these states, because, like, there's, like, 3 people total living in them. But, hey, Tennessee has a reasonable population, I think. It's got, yeah, it's got a pretty reasonable population. I can't remember off the top of my head how many million people live there, but it's a decent amount. It is a healthy state. I'm going to put it in B tier. Texas. I mean, they don't have income tax. Utah. Mormons. Above Ohio, below Ohio. Above Ohio, below Ohio. Ohio is the all-consuming one, but Utah has Mormons. Vermont has to be, like, the prettiest state that I have been to of them all. Just visiting Vermont in the fall is a pleasure. Highly recommend that experience to anyone. Just going to the state and climbing up like these small hills, trekking. Rural Vermont is just pretty. It's extremely pretty. Also, the Vermont Republic is a really fascinating bit of history. If you don't know about how that whole Vermont Republic happened and how that state used to kind of be like part of New York, part of New Hampshire. It's pretty interesting. Wait, was it part of New York, part of New Hampshire? I think it declared its independence from New York, the Vermont Republic. But it's quite a fascinating bit of history, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to learn more about early independent U.S. history, just the Vermont Republic. Not a bit that's taught very often in schools or even at a university level. It's when I took my U.S. history course, Vermont Republic was never mentioned because it's kind of a historical footnote, just because it didn't succeed in its independence, obviously, given the fact that Vermont is in the U.S., but it did succeed in its independence from New York, because Vermont is now its own state rather than New York and bits of New Hampshire. Virginia. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. Hmm. I think, yeah, I think it gets to be like pretty low on the C tier. I don't think there's anything good about Virginia, but I don't think there's anything too bad about it either. So I'll put it in C tier. West Coast is cringe, but it's better than Oregon. West Virginia, that one song, which I'm not gonna sing because I will make all of your ears bleed. Wisconsin. Uh, Again, I like the weather itself, but it reasonably low up in A tier. Wyoming does not exist. I don't know why it's in this tier list. I should not have put it in the tier list. I mean, I didn't make the tier list. I found I already made one online. But as it does not exist, I am not going to rank it on this list because it makes absolutely no sense to rank something that doesn't exist. Anyways, I'm going to promote Michigan to be above Wisconsin, honestly, realistically. Michigan is just Wisconsin, but epicer. Yeah, that should be about it. I think that is all 49 U.S. states. And, yeah. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any more ideas for countries or provinces or a country that I know or other such things for me to rank, let me know and I will be happy to make a video about it. Thank you so much and goodbye.